So this is the semi-finished article here, the top for the new high street at Indalo. I've actually put a couple of extensions here, or wings as I call them, for the turning vehicles. It needs about 150 millimeters. So if the cart is coming up here, a car or truck, it needs to come slightly over this area here to turn before it can go back up the other side. But I think this turned out quite well. It's quite strong, and I've actually put these very level. The reason being for that is because the further plan, I haven't got it here, but is to have a road coming off of here onto the next section down here, and potentially as well having a road coming down here, down this side, all the way along, along here, and maybe going into this area here. So there's areas where it can be expanded. It's not just going to be restricted to the high street. So along the back, obviously I'm going to have the low relief buildings going all the way along the back there up to the end. That will be the main high street, but initially the cars or trucks will come along here and they will turn and go back up again and come round. As a teaser, a further thought would be to take this a little bit further. I was sitting here thinking today, well, how can I really expand this? Now, as some of you know, I have an airfield here on my layout. I'm thinking about changing that. What I'm thinking about doing is actually extending this road along here. Obviously taking this, it's a little bit wonky, so I will level it out with some good board or something to make it nice and level, but then making a tunnel so it will actually go down and in underneath, and it will go underneath the mountain there. And I'm thinking about bringing it out, removing this track, keep it in the mountain side and coming along here, because this really is a bit of a isolated piece of track. The reason it's isolated is because it doesn't go anywhere. I was going to have it coming round here and coming out at a certain height underneath there, but that didn't happen. And I kept it all on one level. As you've probably seen from my other videos, this level here is the same level as the station that's actually in there. It was going to be high-rised, but I decided later, as we do as modelers, we model as we go. So I may just actually do, say, a tunnel going down to a certain level, coming around here, single track road, coming all the way around to here, and then again that will then continue on to this road that's going to come along here, and it'll rise up to here, and it'll come back around the high street again. And if I want to continue around here, it will then come down again, round into the village and around and back up onto here into the high street, and it'll do a complete loop. So that's the thought process for a longer term project, but I just really wanted to show you what I've done today, and that's actually getting this raised section for the high street. I wanted to have this as well completely open, and I think I've actually achieved that. It is quite solid. I mean, I'm not going to be putting books or anything like that on here, so there are going to be a lot of low relief buildings that are quite light and they're going to have the vehicles running up and down on it. So no tremendous weight, but I wanted to have this completely open here, probably because I wanted to see the trains coming into the station here, this terminus station, and really from the high street, which is going to be here. You imagine there's a building right here. It's going to be like a ticket office, and then people will go down a set of stairs or a lift that will bring them down to the platform where they can catch their train. That's the idea. And obviously the fiddle yard as well, I've got complete access to if I need to reach in, using the hand of God to get into there for anything. But it's shaping up. It's definitely shaping up. It's looking pretty good. I'm going to leave all this to dry overnight. I've used probably, I think it's about 15 mil square timber, very, very light for the skeleton frame, and then 5 mil plyboard, which I think is thick enough because I've actually secured it to this with glue and staples. I've stapled it. I didn't use screws, but the glue itself is very, very strong glue. Always use glue in a well ventilated area or outside, which I did, and make sure that you give it enough time to dry before you move on to the next stage. I'm very impatient. I want it done today. I want to make sure that, you know, I can get on to the next thing to make sure that I'm always moving forward. But it's good to see that this is actually shaping up now. I think it is going to look really, really good when it's done. This was the vision in my head, say, to have the low relief buildings along there and the two roads going back and forwards. If I can show you them, I don't know whether you see them before, but if you can imagine, there's going to be, where's the other vehicle gone? I'm going to actually, oh, it's over there, have a couple of vehicles parked as well. If you can imagine some parked vehicles, so you've got the low relief buildings, there's obviously a path, and there's going to be some parked vehicles, and then I'll have two roads with a little centre island going up the middle there, and that obviously is going to still allow, I'll turn that around, that's going to allow a vehicle that's going to be moving on this top here to come up here, turn around and come back down here. It'll be about there actually. So that's how it's going to look. Obviously then from about here I can put a probably a brick wall up there, like there probably would be in a normal high street scene if there was actually a drop, so for some safety. So there'd be a brick wall here about that width, so that'd probably be about there, and a little tow path going across there as well. So I've measured it all out and it all should work. So if you want to do that, where's the, if I can have the central reservation roughly about that width, maybe a little bit wider, then that's still going to leave me enough for a wall, about that sort of thickness, and a path as well. And then the vehicles can run up and down there. There's going to be no parking on this side. There's obviously just going to be parking on that side of the high street, because obviously that's where the shops are, on this side. So there's going to be shops and pubs and bars and hotels or whatever I've got, banks, etc. along there. A couple of parked cars, obviously paint display, as most places are now. And then you'll obviously have the two roads, one going one way and one going the other way. But yeah, it's going to look, I think, really good when it's all done, and all the weathering's done and the painting and everything. But that is just the bare bones of the actual structure of the high street. But so I'm quite happy with it, especially as I've got that complete openness across there. There is the one pillar, but as I've said before, I mean, on most station platforms when they're underground, you normally do have some sort of pillar that holds up the roof above you. So that's okay. So there we go, that's just an update. If you like what you see, please do like, share and subscribe. Any comments, I'll obviously always reply to them. Any advice as well that you may think that can help the channel, please do share your positive comments with me. Just a last look now on the fueling system there that I made and installed. That is not the right truck, so before anybody says anything, I'll just put that fueling truck there. That's obviously a Pt2 one, which is probably sugar or flour or something like that, but that's just to give me an idea, because obviously on the track there I've put the track and the grass in the middle when I've done some scenery, but that's giving me an idea about where it's going to be situated. So I've got to get a tanker, a HO scale, probably one about that length. I don't need a big Arctic, but probably an 8-wheel tanker, something similar to that. I may even paint this one because I'm not going to use a Pt2 tanker for anything. So what I need to do really, I suppose, is paint that and write shed on it or something else, some sort of other distributor. So I might think about doing that. But anyway, that's it. That's just a quick update. Hope you like what you see. The scenery here at Indalo is actually coming on, especially here in the fiddle yard. I've actually got all the boardwalks in now and weathered. No, they're not meant to be on there. I just moved them over there because I was working this area. But they are meant to be, yes, on the track. So obviously, it's not meant to be there. The boardwalk is really for when the drivers obviously get out the cabs, they can walk along here, and then obviously they cross the track. Well, I need to put in some of these. So they just walk across the track to the next one. And eventually they'll find their way out, and over here, I'm going to have a depot, a small depot, like a driver's depot, where they can come to, maybe a little car park as well. So I have a little building here, little site depot for the drivers of the trains and some cars, but you'll see all that. But that's all what's in my mind. I'm probably sharing too much at the moment about future projects and all what's going on. So that's just a glimpse of the high street, as I say, the structure and where I am at the moment. Hope you like it. As I say, if you do like it, share, like, subscribe, and any comments, I'll obviously reply. Okay, all the best. Now the main structure is actually completed here on that high street. I need to put in the lighting. That's including lighting here on the centre reservation. I bought this little strip of wood that I think will do just right for the centre reservation. I've marked it all out. Now, just if you missed it on the last video, you imagine that's one of the low relief buildings, and then we can actually have probably about there. Well, actually that's part of the path. So yeah, about there, and then I would actually have a road. So there'd be parked cars there, for example, and the road would be here. Move that over a little. So on this side, all I will have is just a small narrow path, probably a little bit wider than that. Probably, I would say, about that wide. So it's still going to be enough for vehicles to pass on this side. I'll actually measure it out properly when I get a few more of the low relief buildings in before I put in the central reservation. But what I'm going to be doing today is installing the lighting underneath here for the station here, and also then going to be running the wires which are going to be up underneath here for the lights that's going to come here, the street lights, and also to give lighting to the low relief buildings along here. So a lot of the work's going to be done underneath this piece of board. So I'm going to get on and do that now, and I'll keep you updated as I go along. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you have any comments, please put them below.